I guess welcome everybody to episode 50. We told you we had a surprise for this episode, and what it is we decided to just completely tank the production quality of
Yeah,
our show.
take it down like 10 notches.
Yeah, all the way down. No,
Did you
in
figure out
reality,
what Carolina you're in?
yeah. So I'm in North Carolina.
Okay,
Shout out
that's good to
Woody
know.
because this is like his territory now. Uh, over there with Charlotte. But yeah, just on vacation, and we had to record. The game just ended. I think 5-10 minutes ago. Um, and we ended up going pretty well, I would say.
Yeah, it finished better. First, though, we should probably say if you're listening to audio only, we do have a YouTube. We exist there. Post 90 on YouTube and Post 90 on Twitter. If you want to give us a follow, we always interact. I
Yep,
almost
and
forgot that part.
if this is your first time on YouTube, it's not typically like this. We usually have a little studio that Justin's in there, um, and we kind of have much higher production quality than the current
Or
one.
if this is your first time audio only, audio is always better than this.
Yeah, that's for
Audio
sure.
will never be this bad unless he goes
Um,
to the other Carolina.
yeah, which could be, who knows? I
Who
mean,
knows?
I have no opinion in general about the Carolinas until we play Charlotte. Then I hate them in every way. So let's talk a little bit about this game. Like you said, it started off pretty bad. I mean, as bad
Pretty,
as it really could.
yeah, I
Um,
mean, just the series of events that caused us to go down one were terrible. Obviously, the challenge was horrible. Um, and like I tweeted, he would have been insanely lucky to get just a yellow.
mm,
I saw that tackle and it was like, okay, how is Bedoya going to walk after that, and how are we going to have 10 or 11 men?
yeah, and I feel terrible for ZLM too because I think this is his first start for any soccer team like in the world in like pushing 3 years. I think at this point, and
First
I
for
would
us.
definitely, yeah, by far the first for us. And you would say it wasn't a mistake by Ronnie to start him. I don't think either. We definitely talked about in past episodes how ZLM has looked incredible with the minutes that he's been giving. Um, and unfortunately, I guess Keaton did something with his calf in training on Friday, so he had to step up. And I don't know. This one felt like, was it the first game of this season or last season when Chanot got that red card in the opener?
Very,
And it
very
was
quick.
like it for the first couple minutes felt sort of doomed. Like right after the red card, it was like, oh no, we're not falling back into this kind of bad vibe, are we?
Yeah, I mean, and it sucks too because I feel like he was playing well before that point.
Mm,
I think once he put in that tackle, it and the tackle itself was kind of it seemed more of like he was jittery because it was his first start and
yeah.
he didn't want like his mistake to cause a goal.
Yep.
Ultimately, his mistake caused a goal, but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it just seemed like he didn't want to give up the ball and like play poorly, so he overcommitted on that
Mm,
challenge. Yeah, he can't be stomping ankles. That's a leg
no.
breaker.
What do you think? Like how do you think we turned it around? Um, to ultimately, end up tying it.
Yeah, I mean, after that point, I kind of pictured being on the podcast and saying, you know, the situation of winning by a ton of goals that kind of set up a mindset that went, put us on a run. And so I kind of pictured at that point losing. Like you said, it seemed doomed. So I
Hmm.
pictured losing and being on here and asking, does going into the playoffs with a loss, where does that put our mind? Do we start going on, the opposite of the run that we've been on?
Hmm.
But the team showed fight. I mean, we pressed and pressed and ended up getting a result. So I think ultimately the team showed fight, and
Dude,
that's all you can really ask for.
if this is any indication of what it's going to feel like while we watch playoff games, I'm not sure I have the anatomy built for dealing with that because those last like 10 to 15 minutes were the most stressful thing. And then I started thinking like, oh, not only are the playoffs on the line, but like our ability to go to a home game is on the line. Like if we end up losing, especially as like so Ian and Joe are feeding in results from around the league, and they're like, yeah, now a loss definitely confirms home games out of the picture. And I'm like, oh my god, and Philly is starting to get dangerous, like in the 75th, 80th minute, and I one thing that I texted you about, and I don't know, I know at a point Ian and Joe made a comment about it, and I was honestly just trying to stay away from Twitter because I was on an alternative stream that would have been behind the rest of the community.
Alternative. It's different
So I
angles.
didn't. Yeah, alternate angles.
Gotcha. I mean that it's
And
the U.S. soccer culture, meaning your channel's blocked out, so you have to find
yeah,
something. So you
and
get
I'm not
those
home
different
day.
angles.
Yeah, and they started talking about substitution. So I don't know if the community was as well, but I texted you about it after Ian and Joe said something because to me, I mean, aside from Santi, who did end up getting pulled pretty late, there was nobody on that field that I would have took off. Like I saw everybody like basically fighting for their lives, like literally fighting for their lives.
I mean, Medina, I thought was playing not bad but careless, like not
Hmm.
being as composed as I'd like because he was just being careless with the ball. I mean, he wasn't. We were in like I put in my notes, we were inefficient in possession, and a lot of that was Medina just kind of like, oh well, I'll play this pass because it makes sense, but it really didn't. I mean, it doesn't take a brain surgeon to see that there's a guy that's going to just take a step and steal that ball. Um, I kind of was rallying for Medina to be changed because I didn't really think he added that much. And I don't
Hmm.
think he took away from anything, but he didn't add anything, in my
Yeah.
opinion. So I probably would have changed Medina. But yeah, I mean, Santi late made
Yeah,
sense.
hearing your analysis of Zelalem makes me think the same about Medina. Like I think he's probably very conscious of like what his form has been and how especially with that one goal where he just carelessly gave up the ball and it directly had an impact on us. I think he maybe feels the same thing where he's worried about doing something wrong. So he's like, going that extra mile to overcommit in situations where he shouldn't. Uh, and it's costing him in different ways because I think Medina easily could have had a brace, like very easily. There were two major chances, especially one, like I think even in stoppage time at the end of the game. But ultimately, he just, he couldn't find the net. But I don't know. I'm usually like the Medina hater, but I wasn't too upset with what he showed today.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, overall, like I said, he wasn't hurting us necessarily.
Hmm.
I mean, nothing that he did hurt us. He wasn't really adding either, so he's kind of just
Yeah.
there. In my opinion, for a majority of the game. But other than that, yeah, I mean, I put this in my notes too. I didn't know if I was going to go there, but I'm going to go there. James Sands is not athletic enough to play a right back. He just
Okay.
isn't. He's
Yeah.
just not athletic enough,
Well, he's
and
a
it shows.
CDM for sure. Like
Oh,
guaranteed.
for
That's who
sure.
he
He
is.
turns like a truck. He turns like a Mack truck trying to do a K turn. He's not very agile.
And did you see the rip that he attempted to take after Molt also attempted to rip one? Yeah,
I like
that's tough.
Malt's chances better.
Me too.
And
Um,
I love a James Sands in the middle, not so
yeah,
much as the right back.
yeah. And actually, as somebody who we've been talking about has been looking better consistently over the last few games is Alfredo. Like, thank God that he has decided to learn how to play soccer. Like, not to
Like
go so bold with that, like because I'm an Alfredo lover. I love Alfredo for sure.
like
And
the
I would prefer red sauce for sure, but um, I'm not mad at Alfredo. But out the man Alfredo Morales is playing out of his boots right now
he
after
almost
being.
literally played out of his boots. He almost I thought he was dying on the field for a moment. I was
out
like, what happened? I looked away for a
after.
moment, I looked back and he's just on the ground.
Yeah, I mean after being what is the most careless NYCFC player that I've ever seen to now be doing what he's doing is great, and it's needed at a time like this, especially with Keaton, banged up.
Taty almost had an Alfredo moment. I don't know if we want to talk about that.
We
Um,
could.
I mean, it was harsh for him to get talked to because he got the ball, but I mean, you
I think
know,
we're lucky and he's lucky because I'm pretty sure. And Ronnie got asked about it in the pregame press conference too. Um, Taty is in yellow card trouble, like to the point where a yellow card this game means he's not playing against Atlanta in the first round. Um, and I think Ronnie was maybe just playing a little Ronnie ball because he was like, "Oh, we have other options. Like if we don't want to play Taty." So I was like, "There's no way this man is thinking about not starting him." But I mean, Taty was lucky not to get a red. I think I saw some
oh,
people say that on Twitter.
easily. Yeah, I could have seen, if that challenge is a second late,
Hmm.
that's a very dangerous tackle. I mean, not like definition red card, 2 feet, studs up, over
Yep.
the ball. Like the exact definition of a red card was that tackle.
Yeah. And
Um,
if I was gonna say if we did lose him at that point, uh,
we lose the game.
ultimately, yeah, we would not have had him there to score that goal. Which I mean, you've said this in the past a few times. If Taty is not scoring, then
We
NYC
aren't.
is not scoring.
What do we
Uh,
call Taty Air Taty now? That goal was insane.
I'm with that. Yeah, I mean, his like
Air
that
living.
to me, I didn't want to be the guy to go on Twitter. I didn't want to tweet this, but we talked about like comparisons to Ronaldo in the past. And I'm not saying Tati is the next Ronaldo, so away fans don't freak out if
But it's
you
not
ever hear this.
impossible.
But the amount of lift that he got and he buried that over the keeper in the back corner. I mean, that is a Ronaldo goal. Will you see him put his hands on somebody's shoulder, like prop himself up? And you're like, how does this man have an 8 foot vertical and put it in the back of a net? And that's exactly what Tati did. Like it was genuinely, it was incredible.
Well, I mean, that's where I was kind of going with it. It's like the challenge was so questionable that it might have just been that spark that
Yeah,
sent the team to be like, okay, he wants it, I want it too.
yeah,
I mean, he literally led by example. He went and got the goal.
yep. And put himself in a great position to, I guess it's still potentially win the Golden Boot. Um,
Potentially, but
yeah, I was a little concerned because Ola Kamara put up a brace in the first half of that DC game, which actually tied him with Tati. So
yeah,
Tati literally needed that goal personally to
yeah.
keep this Golden Boot thing alive.
Well, no, he would have
Um,
had the tiebreaker on. He did have the
ass-
tiebreaker on assist. Yeah,
assists, right? Yeah.
yeah, the whole
And
time.
then so now it's really just up to Raul Ruidaz on Sounders. I think they're going to play in a little
Who
while here,
does?
but I mean he would have to score I think three. I think three
I
to
think
beat him
three.
because of Tati's
Yeah,
tiebreaker.
yeah, the
I don't
assist.
want to. I don't. I don't know if there's any wood for me to knock here, but I don't see that happening at all.
I got wood. The wood right here.
All right,
No,
that's
like
good.
on the
Oh,
table.
all right. Yeah, our podcast table. That's true. That's true.
Yes. Yep.
It is
Exactly.
made out of wood.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, I now feel better knowing that we're playing Atlanta in the playoffs. It was much scarier when it was an unknown, uh, and we beat them before. So we're gonna have to see kind of just how it goes.
Yeah. I mean this with the most respect possible. I want to see Brad Guzan just cry on the field.
I
I
don't
want
know
him
where
to
you go
retire,
with that.
not die, cry on the field.
YouTube has strict guidelines. That was scary.
Yeah.
But no,
No, I
yeah, I
want to see him
totally
cry
agree
and
with you.
retire.
Yeah, I mean he's at the age where you got to
About that
start
time.
thinking about your future. And like you said in text the other day to me, because we had already known probably for the most part whether we finished fourth or third. I believe our bracket was going to go through New England no matter
Yeah.
what the case was. And that's what you said. You were like our side of the bracket goes through New England, so we got to win one, and then we got a big matchup against, I guess, the new record point holders of the MLS, who we have seen many times before. We've taken points off, and we've given them points. It's on the way to that record. So
Yeah. I think obviously by no means an easy fixture.
no,
Um, but we've shown
it'll
and
be
proven
at
that we can
Gillette.
beat them.
Yeah,
I mean, we may even
we
have to
might.
take that trip.
I was gonna say we're kind of in Connecticut here, positioned to uh definitely, obviously, we're gonna be at that Bronx game against Atlanta. That's a no doubt. Um, and then whatever happens, I mean, yeah, we whether we have to go as press and we got to work with the opposition to get in the box up there and
Uh-huh.
show some blue love up in the press box at Gillette, or hey, we'll just go as fans and we'll brace that. And I'm sure there's tons of third rail people that will do the same because
I'll say
they're
this:
monsters.
if we do go there as press, I will not be as respectful as I was to Toronto.
Average.
I think, yeah, I think we were far too respectful to them. We should have danced on
Yeah.
their graves. We're just some young bucks that didn't know the
We
land.
had no clue. It was only like episode 10 at that point. I mean, we're 50 now.
Happy 50.
Yeah, happy 50. Thanks to
Hopefully, we're here for 50 more.
I think we're gonna be here for like a lot more. I almost just ruined our clean streak for no reason of no cussing.
I think we did already.
I forgot we were. Oh, did have we done that?
I think so.
Okay. Well, I think we have
We
Atlanta to
said
look
something
forward to.
special for 50.
No, it can't be that.
Demonetization for 50. I mean,
Yeah, dude, I didn't even want to post the meme on Twitter the other day because it had which we just swear. I don't know. It had the S word in it, and I was like, "Is that our brand?" I don't know if that's our brand. Like we're trying to like go to the press games and stuff like that, and have players on the podcast. But yeah,
yeah,
we
I
have
mean,
something
this
to look
is
forward to.
yeah, the end of an interesting episode 50. Obviously,
Mhm.
we may have to do this some more in the future, just with the way that our lives have ended up, literally being completely polar opposite sides of the map. Um, but we work through it, so you may see more episodes like this. I may not be in the seat, and maybe Adam in the seat,
Yep,
but yeah, post 90 on all platforms.
yep.
Thank
Thank
you
you
for
guys for
sticking through
listening,
this weird episode. We'll see you
and
guys next week.
we'll go and represent in the Bronx, and I'm sure tons of you guys will too. So we'll see you there.
Yeah, we'll see you there. Peace.
Peace.